Hello friends, and welcome to Figure Study, where technically I wasn't lying during the Tobot v Big Troll video. At the time, that was the last of the Korean transforming robot figures that I had, and the last of the figures that I had been planning to get. Clearly that has changed. Today we're looking at Hello Carbot Sky Swat. There are a couple of reasons why we're looking at Sky Swat today. One, it's just a cool figure that I actually had my eye on for a while and was like kind of, I don't know, wishy-washy about it. And two, thanks to a recent video by Brickbot, which you can check out up there, I found out that Sky Swat is actually female. Any of you have been following this channel for a while, you know that I kind of have a thing when it comes to awesome lady robot characters, so I kind of had to. You know, it was a cool figure that I already wanted, and turns out, lady, and not like blatantly obvious fertility symbol RC style lady either, thank God. But yes, Sky Swat. Very cool. And I actually picked this figure up at Sir Toys. I will include the link in the description. I think I bought the last one. I don't know if they're ever going to get more in stock, but she was only $30 on Sir Toys, which is way better, even with shipping, than the $90 that she normally goes for. That also helped. But anyway, yes, Sky Swat. She is a car, a SWAT car that looks more like a 3 family member coupe with some RoboCop reboot paint stylings and sirens thrown on top of it. I've already forgotten what kind of car this actually is based off of. From what I understand, again, thanks to KR Brickbot's video, which I linked previously, with this release, for whatever reason, they had to get rid of the branding. I guess they just lost the license over time. So the only real difference in terms of like appearance between this version and the earlier release is the fact that the actual car's logo is replaced with what I think is the Hello Carbot logo. And there's no logo for the actual car brand on the back. But other than that, it's not a bad looking car. As I said, it's a little bit strange. I mean, this could be a thing that is a real thing, because I know they sometimes do make police cars out of non-standard cars that you would associate with something like police work, but in my mind, a little sport coupe looking thing doesn't really say SWAT team, so it's a little bit weird in that regard. I think the color-wise, deco-wise, and everything, it still looks cool. It's just the type of car doesn't necessarily fit with the idea of being a SWAT officer. But what's here is cool. There's a lot of nice, subtle but nice paint detailing in there, with the wheels actually being picked out in gray while the tires are still black. There's some nice use of gray and silver in the front to kind of set apart some of those lights, as well as the actual headlights that appear to be translucent plastic with possibly silver underneath, which looks really nice. The grille also looks nice. It's very well detailed. The painted in lights and the SWAT logo are nice, and I like that the Carbot logo is either tampographed or painted in silver. That helps it pop very nicely. There's some nice detailing along the hood with what could be vents. I don't really know. Then there's also the windshield wipers that kind of get lost. It's one of those details where I feel like they just put it in because, you know, you kind of have to, but I don't know. I might go in and detail those up a little bit myself later. And then along the side, you've got the big SWAT Hello Carbot Police tampo on there, and yeah, it's mostly molding. Like it's a car that's primarily black. I imagine there's not a whole lot of paint detailing that needed to happen, so that's fine. But yeah, it's not a whole lot to go over in terms of color along the side of the vehicle. Got the rubberized side mirrors, which for the first time, as I'm looking at this, I'm noticing they actually either painted or stickered or tampoed the side mirrors a kind of silvery color, which that's very cool. That's a little detail that I didn't think they would do, and as I said, I didn't even notice it until now, so all right. And then along the back, it's another sparse bit of paint, but it is there, and it's nice. It helps to set things apart. There's the gray for the part of the rear bumper, I guess, with the Hello Carbot license plate on it. Sure. And then the exhaust and little trim around that bumper also in silver, which is very nice. And then they did a similar trick with the headlights where they use translucent red plastic now for the taillights. And I always appreciate when toys do that for their alt modes. It feels more polished than just painting it, and definitely more polished than leaving it unpainted. And then along the top, we've got one big glorious SWAT Hello Carbot police tampo, as well as the emergency lights that are the requisite blue and red, but also have that really nice silver trim around the edging there. It's very nicely done. And overall, like, the detailing on the car is very nice. It's, as I said, not a particularly interesting looking car that I would associate with SWAT officers, but what they did, like what they molded, what they painted, looks really good. All right, size comparisons. Bear with me, there are going to be a lot of them because I kind of pulled out all the Korean robot stops for this one. First, though, let's get that standard size comparison out of the way so you can see. Here is Sky Swat with a standard deluxe, and I mean, it's a Carbot. Carbots are basically the same kind of toy as Towbots, so she's huge compared to a deluxe. Here she is with a standard-ish, non-combining Towbot. In this case, Terrical, because that's the only standard-ish, non-combining Towbot that I have. And got kind of a slight, oversized play school thing going here when you see the two of them side by side. Here she is with Stego Tank from the Geomecha Captain Dino series, and technically speaking, I could have gone with the shape mode instead of the Stegosaurus mode, but I feel like shape versus car makes less sense than Stegosaurus versus car, as ridiculous as that sounds. And here's Sky Swat with turning mech card or me card. Could never quite be entirely sure how that goes. Griffin and Sphinx. And that's kind of, it's about in the same ballpark. There's Sky Swat with Towbot v Big Troll and his adorable and useless in vehicle mode little toe key. There she is with Towbot v Troll and his useless toe key in vehicle mode. There she is with Towbot v Master V's Monster, Rocket, and Speed, and their even more spectacularly useless in vehicle mode toe key. There she is with Towbot v Master V's Super Driller, with Towbot v Master V's extremely out of scale Powertrain, with Towbot v Master V's also extremely out of scale Sonic Stealth, and last but certainly not least, the Duck Tank. Oh my goodness, that was a lot of that was a lot of size comparisons. Okay, so with the size comparisons out of the way, the only thing left to do is to transform Sky Swat into her robot mode. And because this is a glossy black car, I actually had the foresight this time to wear pants, so we won't have a repeat of the G2 Masterpiece Sideswipe video. You're all going to look that up now, aren't you? Anyway, transforming Sky Swat, because she is not a Towbot, but essentially like in that same league, simplistic transformation, all that stuff. Gonna walk through it here. So, first thing is to open the doors, and the doors, depending on which door you're opening, tab in a couple of places. This door, as you can see, there's actually a seam here, and sort of like what looks like a secondary door here, whereas this one, the seam is further back, and there doesn't seem to be that second door. This one pegs in here, right here along the side of the arm, and then has just like a little tab that keeps it behind this. So you only really have to separate it from here to get that popped open. And this will pull out until it clicks, like a soft click, and then push forward and it'll actually tab into place up there. And that is one door. Second door tabs in along here as well as along the arm there. So you can pop that, and there you can see where it tabs in there as well. And same deal, pull it out till it clicks, push it forward until it tabs into place. And we are on our way. Now, want to pop the hood, and you can just pull up, but due to what the hood does, which I'll get into later, I'm actually going to take it a little bit more slowly and just put my fingers in here and push up right around here, because it pegs in right in this area here. So push up gently to pop that out of place, And there's also a secondary, smaller, looser tab like in the front there. So you just want to kind of pull up to get that untabbed. And then this will swing forward, and there's a little tab here and a little slot here. It's not it's not solid. It just kind of sits there, but it like keeps it from wiggling around too much. You just want to bring it forward like that. And let's do the legs. So want to split the lower section here, as you'd expect with transforming robot legs. It, you know, tabs in a few places, and once you get it untabbed, you want to remove this and put that off to the side. Then you want to move the feet down, and the feet have like in here there's like a big peg and slot that it's not the solid thing. This is what just kind of keeps the foot from moving around. There's actually a clicking tab back here that you want to disengage it from. And once you do that, you can kind of, like there you can see there's the little tab and the little slot back there. You want to straighten out the foot, bring it all the way back, and then the wheel will fold in and tab in on the shin. Same deal over here. And now we've got legs. For the torso, want to pull these entire sections out, bring them up. Then, without turning anything, you want to, without turning this big mass up here, you want to bring the arms forward. And then this whole section here is on a double hinge, which you can kind of see here. As you hinge that up, it brings up the head. So bring that up, bring that back, and then this big slot here will go over this big tab here, and it's not a locking point per se. It holds solidly enough, and because of the way the double hinge is arranged, it's not going to pop up on its own, but I do kind of wish it soft locked into place. That would have been nice. Then bring the shoulders up and bring the hips back a click so that she's actually standing up straight. And there she is in robot mode. And real quick, I'm going to bring this piece in. This is her gun. There's just this little flip out stock, I guess. And that just pegs into her hand. And, oh, yes. I guess while I'm showing off the gun, this little door section here actually pops up, and there's a baton. An extremely tiny, ineffective-looking baton that you can put into her hand. And that's really kind of tiny and silly looking, and I tend to just pretend that that accessory doesn't exist. I mean, it's cool that you get options, but personally, I'm just gonna leave this in its little hip holster and just pretend that it's not there. Out of sight, out of mind. But yes, there we have Hello Carbot, Sky Swat in her robot mode, and this looks very cool. This, more than anything, is kind of where I get the RoboCop remake SWAT repaint thing from, because it's got kind of that vibe. I was a little bit one of the things that I was kind of on the fence about with this figure when I was thinking about getting her back before I knew she was a her is the limbs are a little bit spindly looking, which is fine, and that's kind of the Carbot aesthetic. It's just in some Carbot figures it looks a little and in others it's fine. This one in hand, definitely fine, and also less spindly than some of the other Carbots I've seen. More than anything, though, it's those shoulders. Those are a little bit sticky-outy, and that was what was kind of giving me the biggest pause when I was thinking about this figure. That, and half the photos I could find of this thing online were extremely unflattering. I mean, we're talking like official Hasbro product photography unflattering. Mistransformations, bad angles, that kind of thing. But like in hand and with a little bit of posing, this figure looks amazing. And she looks pretty darn awesome just like this, even with those sticky outy shoulders. And the silhouette's not bad either. The door wings are a little bit much at times. I kind of wish that you could do something else with those. And like you can kind of, but that something else is basically just bring them back. Like, they don't move any further in, they don't move down. Like, that's the best you can do, is just make it so that she's got half a car hanging off the back of her shoulder. It cleans up the silhouette from the front, but then she's got this enormous thing that just awkwardly sticks off the back. So yeah, it's kind of a shame. I mean, you can untab these and angle them, which is something, Definitely better than nothing, but it's still, I just kind of wish you could do a little bit more with these doors, like maybe swing them down or something like that. Also, because there's no locking, like real locking point for this torso, I have to keep kind of squishing it down, because just moving the torso around a little bit, you can see it kind of comes up a little bit. It's not going to come off, but it just keeps popping up a bit, and I just wish that it locked in. Anyway, looking at the details, you can see that there is some nice molding throughout, and actually a little bit of color here and there, like the red on the feet. And then you've got this kind of mixture of black and dark gray plastic that does mix things up a bit. That gray for the wheels also adds some color breakup on the legs, as well as the silver for the knees and that little bit in the thighs. And then you've got some kind of plastic and paint mix-up around the pelvis area with the black hips, the black and red front piece, and then the gray midsection, black torso, all that good stuff. And you get that cool car grille for the chest, which looks nice. And I do think that the half, like the headlight sections of the car on the shoulders looks cool. It just kind of comes out a little far for my liking, which we'll get into in a bit. And then the arms themselves, there's a little bit of red in that bicep, and then some nice kind of black and dark gray. And it's like a bluish gray when you're, especially under the lights here, but like that black and dark gray kind of color mix up in the forearm section, as well as the black fists. And this seems like a missed opportunity. The black fists, like the fists are a separate piece, but they don't rotate. I don't know why they didn't just give it the option to rotate. I might open the arm up and see if I can do something about that myself. I don't normally talk articulation, but one thing that this figure really could have used is some kind of bicep swivel. And you can kind of fudge it with the way that the hinges work in the shoulders, but an actual bicep swivel would have been very nice. So I feel like a wrist swivel, if I could get that in there, would at least kind of help to offset that. And as for that head is definitely some SWAT RoboCop looking nonsense, and I love it. It definitely looks like some kind of combat helmet, as opposed to an actual face. I haven't seen the show, big surprise, but yeah, it's I don't know if this is actually her face, or if this is like some kind of helmet thing, but it definitely looks like it could be. And I like the colors used here, like the black for the helmet piece, the gray for the mouth plate, silver for the visor, and then this kind of, I don't know what you'd call it, DBZ scouter, rangefinder from Star Wars, I don't know. But it looks cool. I like that asymmetry in the head. I like the fact that it looks like a utilitarian eyepiece that's there for like maybe assessing threats or night vision or something else. I don't know. The show probably has it used for something, but it looks cool. Now, in terms of things like those shoulders and her looking a little bit awkward in, straight-on shots, one of the things that I've found that really, really helps is clicking the shoulders down one and clicking the forearms up one. And that just kind of bulks out the shoulders a little bit more, especially when seen from an angle. It kind of does a better job of hiding the spindly struts that the shoulders come off on. But with a little bit more posing and just a little bit of fudging, if you just bring these shoulders in a little bit, because they're on that double hinge, you can kind of hinge them back a bit. So by hinging them back a bit, that brings them in a little bit closer to the torso, and that makes it look, at least in my mind, so much better. It cleans it up a lot nicer. Doesn't make it look like her shoulders are completely separate from her torso. That is good stuff. And before we get to size comparisons, I almost forgot about the car roof. Now, the reason we wanted to be careful when transforming this thing is because it actually unclips from the back here. Right there, that clips in there. And the reason it unclips is because it can be used as a shield. And that just slides right into the hand, which it's looking like I'm having trouble with it for some reason. I don't know why. But yeah, that slides into the hand, and then personally I like to bring it up more. And there you have Sky Swat with her gun, with her shield, with her shoulders in a little bit more so that she just looks cool. And yeah, I love this. This looks so awesome. It looks awesome. And with the hood gone, or the roof gone. There's not a whole lot of kibble on the back there. There is some. Even then, it's not bad. Like, it's a little unsightly just in how you've got the entire car hood on her back, and then the entire like back sections of the car and her calves and these awkward looking heels. So like, yeah, from the back looks a little bit awkward, but it still cleans up pretty nice and looks pretty freaking awesome from most other angles. So yeah, Sky Swat, very cool. Very cool, and of course, being not a Tobot, but something kind of akin to Tobots, she's also pretty tall. Let's get this situated here so you can kind of see everything a little bit better. And let's, okay, I've got 10 minutes before Audacity craps out on me. I think I can get through all these size comparisons before then. Let's see how it goes. Here she is with a standard deluxe, and surprise, surprise, she's way bigger. Here she is with a standard-ish Tobot, and yeah, she's big, but she's kind of, I don't want to say dwarfed, but there's definitely a lot more mass and some more height going on here. But, you know, they're separate lines, separate companies. Here she is with Stego Tank in robot mode, and that's also a little bit shorter. Still works. Here she is with Turning Mech Card Griffinx, the combination of Griffin and Sphinx, and, I mean, to be fair, he's rather large, and he is technically a combiner, so, yeah, I think this is fine. Here she is with Tobot V Big Trail, and, I'll get this recentered here. And that's just about head-to-head, I think. Big Trail looks a tiny bit taller, like just like half a head, maybe even a third of a head. Here she is with Tobot V Troll, and I mean, Troll's the kind of stout bruiser-looking fellow, so I would expect him to be shorter, but also significantly bulkier. Here she is with Tobot V Master V in his vanilla robot mode, and I mean, you know, combiner, so of course he's much bigger. We interrupt this regularly scheduled size comparison because Astrid needed attention right now. She gets like this sometimes. Okay, hi. You are really interrupting the flow, honey. Right, where was I? Oh yeah. Here she is with Tobot V Master V Power Driller. And I mean, these guys are components to a combiner, so it stands to reason that they'd be a bit smaller. Here she is with Tobot V Master V Powertrain, and Astrid is back, so we'll see how this goes. Here she is with Tobot V Master V Sonic Stealth, who is the tallest of the three component bots, and still a component bot, so still a bit smaller. You know, I totally would have made it before having to change over audio tracks if not for the kitty interruption, but anyway. Here she is with Tobot V Big Troll, and I mean, it's, you know, it's Big Troll. It's a Tobot combiner, so of course, he's significantly larger. And speaking of course he's larger, here she is with Tobot V Master V with all of his various bits attached. And lastly, let's bring the camera back down here. There we go. And lastly, here she is with the Duck Tank. So that's gonna do it for Hello Carbot Sky Swat. As I said, very, very cool figure, and the fact that she's a lady just makes her all the more awesome in my eyes. It's a really neat looking figure, and I really appreciate the fact that it's a female character without being, like, embarrassingly blatant about it. That's a whole other discussion for a whole other time, but suffice it to say, my standpoint is a very solid, they don't have to blatantly look all curvy and sexy to be considered lady alien robots. I mean, come on. But not gonna get into that. Just very cool figure all around. Transformation is definitely simple, but as with all of these types of figures that I have, like the Tobots, the Geomecha, the turning mech card or me card stuff, it just gets the job done. Like, there's not a whole lot of steps, but what you're left with, it's quite different than than what you started out with. It's like accomplishing a lot without actually doing much. I don't know, I always appreciate it. And also, like I said, the figure just looks cool. The black and gray with a little bit of silver and red highlights, and some blue in a couple of small places. I like that color scheme, and I like the SWAT motif that's going on here. It's really neat. Anyway, that is going to do it for Hello Carbot Sky Swat, as I said. What do you all think of this figure? Are you okay with the shoulders jutting out a little bit like they are? Does the spindly nature of the limbs bother you? Because, as I said, it's kind of a running aesthetic for a lot of Hello Carbot stuff. Does it bother you that this overseas, simplified, made-for-younger-children Korean toy actually pulls off the use the roof for a shield better than Studio Series Barricade? I really wish that was just a feature that they built into the toy. Whatever your thoughts, feel free to chime in down below. I always enjoy hearing from you all. And while you're at it, also feel free to like, subscribe. If you're feeling generous, you could buy me a coffee. Any of those things would make me a happy Rob. And remember, art is more than meets the eye.